I've lived within 45 minutes of KC my whole life, just kind of back and forth, like kind of out in a little town called Plattsburgh, not too far from where my shop is now. Well, it's been back and forth. I lived in Plattsburgh, then I lived in KC, then I lived in Plattsburgh, then I lived in KC. So I mean, like I've lived in Plattsburgh for probably like 15 years. I like living here out in the country, like in Paradise, where I live now. I like it out here because it's, you know, you just have space to work on anything. You can do anything you want to do out here. You know, there's a lot of good people in the city, and KC is one of the best cities that I have been to, like straight up. But I just like the freedom. I mean, I've always just really liked pipes, like ever since I was pretty young. I know that sounds bad, but like I've always really liked pipes. I thought that they were cool in just aesthetically. I don't know. I just always thought they were just really cool, kind of taboo in a way. I made my first pipe, my first like ceramic pipe, my freshman year in high school, and like my my art teacher totally just fired. It was literally just a little pipe, like a couple inches big, just a super dope chillum that was square. And it had like really intricate glaze work. Like I spent a lot of time on it. Like everybody knew our art teacher was kind of like a stoner, and he just liked me enough that he fired it and gave it to me. Like when other people tried to make shit, he'd like smash it and just be like, nah, you know. But no, he fired my pipe, and that kind of always made me just be like, man, I need to get a kiln and just make pipes like that. And so as soon as I got out of high school, like within like 4 months, I bought a ceramic kiln. Got it off Craigslist, and some like tweaker delivered it to my house at like 11 o'clock at night. Like within like an hour of making the call, this dude was carrying this kiln by himself right where I needed it in the basement. But the first batch all blew up because, you know, I'm teaching myself. I didn't know you had to like really dry them out. They were kind of dry, but like not at all. So they all just blew up. You know, you gotta learn, and I did. I did ceramic pipes for about a year, and like I knew almost immediately I wanted to do glass pipes as well, like because like, you know, glaze, when it's melted, it is just a thin layer of glass, so you're almost making it out of glass when you're doing ceramics, but not quite. Glass allows you to do a lot of different shit, especially making things translucent, which you can't do with clay. You know, everything has to be opaque with clay, which is just, you know, really limits you on like what effects you can achieve as far as like contrast and colors. So I bought a torch and started making some pipes, like just teaching myself. Like I didn't know that there was like a community at all, like until almost like 2 years after starting blowing glass. I didn't know that there was people like Mike Shelbo making insane sculptural stuff. Like I had only known what I had seen in shops. Like I didn't ever use social media, so I never really like looked for anything like that. I would never think by myself living out in the country like, fine glass art, let me look into that. the idea of making and then using my own glass pipe really was probably what drove me in, like, to just pull the trigger. When I first got started on sculpting, it was like, which was after about a year or so, or a year and a half or so after I had started blowing glass. So I made hundreds of pipes in like that year. And then one day I was just in my shop and I was like, I want to try and like sculpt something, and like the first thing I saw was a little hot glue gun. It's actually sitting right over here, but it's literally just a small sculpture of a hot glue gun, and it turned out so good. I was like, dude, I can make anything out of glass. I eventually got into the aliens, but okay, so I had a first-person encounter with an alien craft, like straight up. March 22nd, 2017, and I'm driving down to southern Missouri and to go mushroom hunting, and you know, I'm completely sober. It's 7. I've been driving for like 3 hours already. I'm almost down to the spot, way out in the middle of the country. Like it's like only Amish people live around this part of around Missouri down there. And I like am driving in my truck and I look over and I see this thing floating in the field. Like this wasn't up in the sky. This was like right here on the ground. I saw detail. Like I have a drawing of it out in the shop. It immediately confused me like a lot because it was made out of metal, but it was like floating in a way that my first thought, I swear to God, was like, this must be some kind of weather balloon I don't know about. Yeah, it was about the size of a pickup truck and standing on end, but floating not even as high off the ground as the trees. Like it was really close to the ground, just spinning perfectly clockwise at a very steady speed. And I was like, so confused. I just kept looking back like, what the hell? Like, you know, it was so foreign that it just confused me. I had no idea how it was doing it. I got to look at it for quite a long time, and by the time I'm like past it a little bit and still looking back, it goes up and through the clouds. So that right there pretty much like blew up my interest in aliens and like just anything UFO related like that. PM actually stands for Postmaster, and Post Meridian. It stands for a lot of things. I don't know. It really doesn't stand for anything, but I like to tell people it stands for anything that starts with a P and an M. But I like to say it stands for a lot of things. It was like a nickname given to me a long, long time ago when I was just a wee lad. A little mad lad, actually. I also don't want anybody to start calling me whatever they think it stands for. I'm like, no, it's just PM. Because if I tell people what it stands for, they'll call me that instead. The vibe in It's a Dream is definitely my favorite, and it's really all about the staff. Like a lot of the staff is just like every dude on the crew almost is like always somebody super chill, and they don't make you feel stupid for not knowing what stuff is. Like it's a very pretentious field working in glass shops, and dudes like to think they're so cool, but you don't get that vibe at It's a Dream, alright? Like everybody's so chill there, and yeah, it's like you can go in there for anything. I like it. It's a Dream's got like one of the biggest selections of my glass on display pretty much at all times. All the time I'm talking to people that are like, oh, I saw that one in Dream, you know, like I really like It's a Dream. It's definitely my favorite glass shop, like in Missouri and Kansas for that matter. And yeah, I don't know. Living the dream for real out here. I love it.